Is this really not AI? When photos surfaced of this 8,700-ton steel behemoth, dark red throughout with a massive command tower, appearing inside a closed dry dock at a North Korean shipyard, countless military enthusiasts likely rubbed their eyes in disbelief. On Christmas Day 2024, who delivered the most unexpected strategic gift to a certain great nation across the ocean? The answer didn't come from traditional military powers, but from that East Asian enigma, North Korea, whose startling moves consistently grip the world's attention. According to authoritative sources like CCTV, the nation's supreme leader personally visited the site to oversee construction of this vessel, defined as a nuclear-powered strategic missile submarine. Footage shows the submarine's main hull is largely complete, with its launch seemingly imminent. This marks a staggering new milestone in North Korea's submarine program, following the much-debated Kim Gun-ok nuclear attack submarine, as it advances from possessing nuclear strike capabilities to pursuing strategic nuclear deterrence underwater. The magnitude of this leap compels global defense analysts to reassess their evaluation frameworks. Objectively speaking, whether examining North Korea's submarine industry or its military nuclear reactor miniaturization technology, such a leap, based solely on its publicly acknowledged technological foundations, could almost be described as acquiring technology from another planet, progressing at a pace that seems almost unreal. However, shifting our gaze to the complex geopolitical chessboard of recent years may reveal some clues. Since the outbreak of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, North Korea has been accused by the West of supplying Russia with staggering quantities of conventional munitions like artillery shells and rockets. More significantly, persistent rumors suggest North Korean personnel may have been involved in the conflict in some capacity. In response, it stands to reason that Russia, a military powerhouse with deep nuclear submarine expertise, would provide key technical consultations, components, or even design assistance to Pyongyang. This represents a logical strategic exchange. Consequently, the rapid advancement in North Korea's military industry, particularly in the realm of underwater strategic platforms, has drawn considerable attention. While the exact origins of this technology remain unconfirmed, external speculation has converged on a distinct direction. Let us now turn our focus back to the submarine itself. Its emergence reveals a unique path for North Korea in developing its sea-based nuclear capabilities. Unlike the steady approach of nations like China, the United States, and Russia, which prioritize surface-based systems before submarines, Pyongyang's choice appears closer to France's historic strategic model, concentrating all efforts to first acquire strategic nuclear submarines capable of launching ballistic missiles, rapidly establishing a credible underwater nuclear counter-strike capability to resolve the fundamental question of existence versus non-existence, and only then considering the refinement of an attack submarine fleet. This choice starkly highlights Pyongyang's near-urgent desire for a second strike capability, aiming to ensure its nuclear deterrence remains credible even under extreme circumstances. However, in terms of its specific technical implementation, this new submarine exudes a strong, retro-Soviet-style aesthetic, even evoking certain classic designs from the early Cold War era. Its most jarring external feature is the disproportionately massive conning tower fairing. In modern submarine design, conning towers are increasingly streamlined and low profile to minimize hydrodynamic noise and drag. The North Korean vessel's bulky design, however, seems to transport us back to the 1960s. It bears a striking resemblance to the Soviet Union's first-generation ballistic missile submarine, the Project 658. Back then, constrained by technology, Soviet engineers faced a dilemma: how to fit massive submarine-launched ballistic missiles into a hull with limited displacement. Their solution was simple and direct. They widened and raised the rear section of the conning tower, creating an integrated compartment that directly housed 3 or 13 missiles, merging the command space with the missile bay. This design fundamentally diverged from the later mainstream approach of installing a separate missile compartment at the stern of the hull. The advantages and disadvantages of this design are quite evident. The primary benefit lies in avoiding extensive redesigns of the entire pressure hull to accommodate missiles, resulting in relatively lower engineering complexity and risk. This makes it suitable for newcomers with limited industrial infrastructure to quickly get started. However, the trade-off is a severe deterioration in the submarine's underwater hydrodynamic performance. The massive conning tower acts like a giant underwater blower, generating significant turbulence and noise during navigation, which greatly compromises the submarine's stealth, a critical lifeline for the survival and deterrence capability of strategic nuclear submarines. Additionally, the extremely limited space within the integrated conning tower resulted in a meager missile payload capacity, while the arrangement of missile launch tubes and firing conditions were also constrained. Precisely because of these insurmountable flaws, the Soviet Union swiftly abandoned this design in subsequent models, shifting toward independent missile compartments. Interestingly, when reviewing the early development of China's nuclear submarines, a thought-provoking contrast emerges. China's first-generation strategic nuclear submarine, the Type 092, despite facing similar challenges of low technological starting points and limited experience, did not replicate the more readily available Soviet Project 658 design. Instead, it chose a more challenging path from the outset. It inserted a separate missile compartment section into the hull of the Type 091 attack submarine, creating the classic humpback configuration to carry the JL-1 submarine-launched ballistic missile. Although the Type 092 and its humpback design later appeared outdated compared to more advanced models, it represented the correct technical development direction and laid a crucial foundation for subsequent models. From this perspective, North Korea's seemingly new strategic nuclear submarine actually employs a basic design philosophy at least one generation behind China's long-retired Type 092. It resembles a low-threshold, quick-fix solution adopted to bridge the gap from 0 to 1. So, what is the true combat capability of this submarine, which carries North Korea's ultimate nuclear ambitions? With a displacement of 8,700 tons, it ranks among the lighter-weight contenders in the strategic nuclear submarine family. Its limited tonnage inevitably constrains reactor power, endurance, stealth capabilities, and weapon payload. External observers widely speculate it may carry a submarine-launched variant derived from the land-based Hwasong series ballistic missiles. While its range might cover regional targets, achieving true intercontinental range with reliable performance remains highly questionable. Moreover, strategic nuclear submarines do not achieve operational capability merely by being built. They require supporting bases, maintenance systems, a highly trained crew capable of conducting prolonged covert patrols, and a comprehensive, reliable underwater command, communications, and support infrastructure. Developing these software and systems capabilities is far more challenging and time-consuming than constructing a hull capable of surfacing and submerging. In summary, this North Korean strategic nuclear submarine, shrouded in mystery and possessing an appearance that seems almost unreal, reminiscent of AI-generated imagery, unquestionably sends a powerful political and strategic signal. It marks North Korea's formal entry into the global sea-based nuclear club, making it the seventh nation to publicly declare possession of strategic nuclear submarines, following the 5 permanent and Security Council members and India. Simply in terms of its symbolic significance, breaking monopolies and achieving a breakthrough from zero, its value in boosting domestic morale and projecting deterrence abroad is undeniable. Yet beneath this awe-inspiring veneer, a purely military technical assessment reveals a rudimentary product based on outdated design concepts, intended to address mere existence rather than capability. Its technological maturity, stealth, reliability, and integrated combat capabilities lag generations behind the strategic nuclear submarines currently deployed by major nuclear powers. It is indeed a Christmas gift to adversaries, a declaration reminding the world of its resolve and ambitions. Yet it also marks a long and uncertain beginning. North Korea's underwater nuclear odyssey, having taken this historic yet somewhat faltering first step, still faces a long road ahead filled with countless technical, industrial, and systemic hurdles to overcome. The silent contest beneath the oceans has never been one that could be easily won by relying on just one or two national strategic assets.